Many of the companies that I work with have a continuous discussion around how to organize teams around the architecture of their products. Traditionally, many companies use component teams, or basically organizing teams that where every component has an associated team. Another way, which we've now seen more recently in some organizations, is to organize around feature teams. So I have a certain feature. The feature may affect multiple components, and I organize around features and allow the teams that realize a feature to basically touch every component that they need in order to build that feature. There are lots of discussions around this, and many people very strongly and very firmly fall into one of the two camps. But my general advice is that the right way is to focus on where the highest complexity is. If there are specific components that contain very specialized and complex functionality, assigning teams to those components is probably a better approach, because these teams then build up the competence to be able to manage the complexity in a particular component. On the other hand, if the main challenge is to the end-to-end integration of all functionality around a specific feature and ensuring that this feature doesn't interact in negative ways with other features, then maybe feature teams is the right answer. The other aspect here to realize is that you do not have to organize everyone in either component teams or feature teams. There is a hybrid approach. For instance, in companies that have a few highly complex components, you may use component teams there and then use feature teams for everything else. However, there is a third perspective that is not discussed as often as the other two models, and that is to organize the functionality in the system using the principles of the three-layer product model. In that model, we categorize functionality into commodity functionality, differentiating functionality, and innovative functionality. And the idea is that our research at least shows that companies invest very, very heavily in commodity functionality. Our data shows 70 to 90%, whereas where very little resources are actually invested in differentiating or innovative functionality. And we believe that that's a problem. So if you organize the functionality in your product or system or platform around commodity, differentiation, and innovation, you can then start to assign resources to each of the three layers in that categorization. And through that, you can much more easily manage resource allocation to commodity, to differentiation, and to innovation. The challenge here, of course, is that you often see that there is an enormous outcry when the reduction in commodity functionality actually takes place. Our research shows that most companies, with a little bit of help, can get their investment in commodity functionality down from 70 to 90% to maybe 30 to 40%. And then, of course, you will still have to spend some resources on innovation, say 5, 10, or 15%. But the remainder, perhaps even a good 50%, should be focused on differentiating functionality. The challenge with innovation and the innovative and experimental functionality is that it very often gets confused with differentiating functionality. However, in our model, we consider innovative functionality, those kinds of features or functionality that has not yet proven itself with customers. We do not know if customers want it and will appreciate it. So we need to find ways to, as quickly and as cheaply as possible, evaluate whether this functionality actually adds value to customers or not. And the challenge here is that in many contexts, companies get confused between driving innovation for a specific system, platform, or offering, or if we talk about innovation to build entirely new products and lines for business. And here I often refer companies to the Three Horizons model by McKinsey. The idea is that you spend 70% of your resources on existing successful products, 20% on proven, rapidly growing new products, and 10% of your resources on trying to identify completely new products and completely new businesses. So if we talk about how do we organize our teams, in addition to the traditional component teams and feature teams, there is this third alternative where you organize teams around commodity functionality, differentiating functionality, and innovative and experimental functionality. And I believe that that's a very healthy way to think about linking the architecture of a system to the way that I organize my teams.